Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilbourn, and as the most sporty member of the WhatCulture office, let's be honest, it's a low bar, I'm here to review EA Sports UFC 3. Now, I've been a fan of MMA and the UFC games for many years now, and UFC 3 follows in the footsteps of UFC 2 from a couple of years ago, retaining all the stuff that we enjoyed whilst also enhancing other areas, and makes UFC 3, in my opinion at least, the best MMA game ever. The fight mechanics have had a complete overhaul. They threw out the fight engine from UFC 2, started from scratch, and gave this game a real sense of authenticity. The fluidity and movement that you would expect from an MMA fight is there in droves. It works fantastically. Coupled with that is some of the best graphics I've ever seen in a fighting game. It is just so realistic. We're talking bruises, welts, sweat, blood, if that's your sort of thing. When you land that perfect shot in the midst of a fight, the blood splattering across your screen is, at the end of the day, what all of us fight fans want. The striking aspect of UFC 3 is spectacular. Tangling with your opponent, changing levels, ducks, feints, and the power behind the shots. I think possibly in the past, that's maybe where UFC has been a bit of a letdown. You'd land those big shots, but wouldn't really sense it or feel it coming through the screen. That is not the case in UFC 3. When you hit those big shots, those big head kicks, it is genuinely wince-inducing. And I'm not just talking for you playing the game, watching the game, it really comes across too. There was a moment in one of the fights where I landed a spectacular head kick, if I say so myself, and you saw my opponent grimace. That is what makes UFC 3 so realistic and so good. The technical side of it is a joy as well. It is about not just landing your shots, but timing them as well. If your opponent is leaning back to land a massive shot, if you can sneak in there, that will give you the advantage. There's also targeting body parts, which you've seen in the past, but now has got a real emphasis. There are bars to show you how much damage you've been doing to legs, arms, the head, of course, and blocking, which in the past you may have experienced as playing against someone where they just block the entire time. That is not possible anymore. If you land enough shots whilst your opponent has got his guard up, some of those will start to sneak through and you will break them down. Stamina is key yet again, something I found out very quickly playing this game, but if you can pace yourself and then start landing those combinations and go for a real barrage of shots to finish the fight, it will reward you tenfold. Now onto the ground game, which has been the stumbling block of many UFC games in the past. At the end of the day, it is very difficult to replicate what it is like when an MMA fight goes to the ground. But in my opinion, they really have tried their best on UFC 3. The mini game that we've seen in previous incarnations has been retained but streamlined, and for someone like myself who would in the past maybe just immediately try and get to my feet when I was taken down, with a bit of practice, it is actually possible to get a hang of these things, to escape submissions, and to actually take control on the ground. At the end of the day, every fighter has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's just about working around that. Now I want to move on to the new career mode. I think career mode previously has been a bit by the numbers, to be honest, but this new career mode called GOAT, you'll see why in a second, is far more enjoyable, far more expansive. A lot of work has clearly gone into this. You go through your fight with clear objectives, trying to go on and become the greatest of all time. GOAT. The objectives, of course, include winning fights, making money, and getting more popular, but there's a more personality-driven side to this than in previous games. It's about self-promotion, social media, interacting with your opponents. There's even odd pop-ups from the likes of Dana White and Megan O'Leary to give that real sense of realism in UFC 3. The integration of social media really does add another dimension to the career mode as well, whether it be fans sending you gifs of your latest spectacular knockout or you stoking the fires of rivalry with your upcoming opponents. You can see where they've taken aspects of the journey from FIFA and just made sure that that authentic experience comes through in career mode. Some have argued that the training aspect of the career can get a bit monotonous after a while. At the end of the day, you just want to fight, but whether it be boosting your own stats or training with elite level fighters in order to unlock new moves or abilities, it does give an all-round sense of what it'd be like as you're on the journey to become the greatest of all time. It's not just about career mode, of course. There are a variety of different game types. There is standard bang if you want to focus on your striking abilities, or the submission showdown, or my personal favourite, always good to play with mates, knockout mode, this year with Snoop Dogg commentating. There are, of course, online modes if you want to have your arse handed to you by a 13-year-old from the other side of the world, although it does get better, I promise. And, of course, Ultimate Team, which, following on from EA's loot box fiasco, is very enjoyable indeed. Similar to FIFA's Ultimate Team, you build a collection of fighters from a variety of weight classes, both real-world fighters and your own creations. You can customize them, although the one downside is that you are encouraged to spend your own money to develop your team and to unlock new moves. In summary then, UFC 3, as I said, is the best MMA game ever, no question. It is just so true to life. You get goosebumps every time you walk out for one of the fights. The striking is unparalleled. The graphics are amazing. Yes, there are the usual niggles when it comes to the ground game, but in my opinion, that has been improved on previous incarnations of this game. And if you don't really think about that, at the end of the day, the majority of us play UFC so you can show your mates that spectacular knockout. And with that, blood going everywhere, kicking people's heads off, I love it. UFC 3, for me, can I do half stars? I'm gonna do a half star. 4.5 stars. So that was our review of UFC 3. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, and I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. It might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.